as of the record date for determining stockholders eligible to vote at the meeting. Kevin has advised that a quorum is present, so I declare the meeting duly and lawfully convened. There is considerable interest in knowing how many shares have been voted
They're
at
sneaking
this
it
meeting.
in right now.
The number of shares that voted prior to the meeting are approximately 101 million shares, which is about 51% of the 198,356,898 total outstanding shares. That number includes broker discretionary voting on certain items, such as ratification of the auditors. For non-routine items on which brokers cannot submit discretionary votes without instructions from the beneficial holder, we only have about 20%. I remind all our shareholders, voting is an important opportunity for you to elect your voice to be heard. I implore you to vote at future shareholder meetings to let your voices count. Proposal 1, board classification. The first item of business is amendment to the company's certificate of incorporation to declassify our board of directors, shortening all existing terms to expire at this meeting and make certain other changes. The amendment, along with reasoning therefore, is set forth in the proxy statement. This amendment has been reviewed by and is supported by the company's Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee and its board of directors. A motion to approve the amendment is now in order.
Ron Hearn, a stockholder. I move that proposal 1 be approved to amend the company's third amended restated certificate of incorporation as set forth in the proxy statement.
Thank you, Ron. Is there a second?
It was supposed to be after hours. They've snuck it in right now. They're trying to pull
Is there a
something
second?
off. No, there is no second. Nobody wants that approved.
Ms. Pierce,
Nobody
Thank
second.
you.
Ms. Pierce was not in the microphone, so I couldn't hear her. Thank you, Cynthia. Are there any questions or comments on this motion? There being no further discussion, I hereby call the question and declare the polls open to vote on the motion. If you've not voted or if you wish to change your vote, please do so now by marking your ballot. I now declare the polls closed on this motion and will proceed to agenda proposal 2, election of directors. The next item of business is the election of directors. However, before proceeding, we will need to determine the outcome of the vote on proposal 1. Kevin, please provide the preliminary outcome of the vote on proposal 1.
Thanks, Adam. Based on the proxies received prior to the meeting and the number of shares present at the meeting, proposal 1 has not obtained the support of a majority of the company's outstanding stock and therefore has failed.
Yes.
Since proposal 1 has failed, mostly because of the amount of non-voting shares, we will proceed with proposal 2B to elect Class 3 directors for a term ending at the 2026 annual meeting. As disclosed in the proxy statement, the candidates for director have been nominated by the company's Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee and by its board of directors, Clark and Carrie them. In accordance with these bylaws, scholars are required to provide advance notice of their intent to nominate candidates for director. No such notice was properly received, and therefore no additional nominations can be accepted at the time. I declare the nominations for directors closed. Motion to elect the 2 nominees, T. Clark and Trey Putnam, is now in order.
I move that the nominees be elected as directors to serve until the 2026 annual meeting of stockholders.
Thank you, Don. Is there a second?
Debbie Weber, a stockholder. I second the motion.
Thank you, Debbie. Are there any questions on this motion? There being no further discussion, I hereby call the question. Declare the polls open to vote on the motion. If you've not voted or if you wish to change your vote, please do so now by marking your ballot. I now declare the polls closed on this motion, and we'll proceed with the agenda. Proposal 3, stockholder written consent. The next item of business is an amendment of the company's certificate of incorporation to eliminate the provision against stockholders acting by written consent. The amendment, along with the reasoning therefore, is set forth in the proxy statement. This amendment has been reviewed by and is supported by the company's Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee and by its board of directors. A motion amendment is now in order.
Stockholder, I move that proposal 3 be approved to amend the company's third amended and restated certificate of incorporation as set forth in the proxy statement.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
Dr. Balkenhane, as stockholder, I second the motion.
Thank you, Scott. Are there any questions or comments on this motion? There being no further discussion, I hereby call the question and declare the polls open to vote on the motion. If you voted or if you wish to change your vote, so now by marking your ballot. I now declare the polls closed on this motion, and we will proceed with the agenda. Proposal 4. The next item of business is an amendment of the certificate of incorporation to remove the limitation on stockholders' ability to call special meetings. The amendment along
No.
with the proxy. This amendment is is now in order.
Cynthia Pierce, stockholder. I move proposal 4 to amend the third amendment and restate the certificate of incorporation as set forth in the proxy statement.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there a second?
Greg Lillian, stockholder, I second the motion.
Thank you, Greg. Are there any comments or questions on this motion? Question. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now by marking your ballot. I now declare the polls closed on this motion. And we'll proceed with the agenda. Proposal 5, officer exculpation. The next item of business is an amendment of the company's certificate of incorporation to expand the exculpation provision to limit the liability of certain officers. The amendment, along with the reasoning therefore, is set forth in the proxy statement. This amendment has been reviewed by and supported by the company's Nominating and Corporate Governance Committee and by its board of directors. A motion to approve the amendment is now in order.
Debbie Weber, a stockholder. I move that proposal 5 be approved to amend the company's third amended and restated certificate of incorporation as set forth in the proxy statement.
Thank you, Debbie. Is there a second?
Chris Cox, a stockholder, I second the motion.
Are there any? Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions or comments on this motion?
We do have one question, Adam.
Yes.
My name is Susan Shelton. I'm a stockholder, and my question is whether or not the language that you purport to put in the revised articles of incorporation will have a stipulation that the liability protection that this seeks to provide will be forward-looking only and not for any past actions.
Thank you. Thank you. Before you respond, Kevin, Susan, thank you for being at the meeting in person, and thank you for your question. And to the answer, since it's pretty technical, Mr. Connor, do you want to respond to her question?
We do not intend for the operation of the amendment to be prospective only. In other words, if a matter for which we sought exculpation happened in the past, but the cause of action arose in the future, the exculpation would apply in a retroactive basis.
Which, Susan, which may affect how you vote on the question. Are there any other questions about this motion? There being none, I now declare the polls closed on this motion, and we'll proceed with the agenda. To Proposal 6, ratification of auditors. The next item of business is to ratify the appointment of Ernst & Young LLP
No.
as the
No,
company's
no,
independent accounting firm for 2023, as discussed in the proxy statement. I'd like to recognize representatives from Ernst & Young who are joining us today. Would you please stand? Hello and welcome. Thank you for being with us in person. A motion to that effect now in order.
So, contain us. I move that the Ernst & Young LLP as the company in the public accounting firm for 2025.
Thank you.
Ron Hunt, stockholder. I second that motion.
Are there any questions on this motion? The discuss. I hear other questions. I declare the polls open to vote. If you vote to change your vote, do so now. Executive compensation. The next item of business is to approve the compensation of the committee executive officer. This proposal will be done is discussed in the proxy statement. We should vote on the compensation of executive officers.
Very good, thank you. Yes, I am Susan Shelton, and I am a shareholder. And my question is, there was a lawsuit that was settled recently with a variety of different plaintiffs, and I think their cases were all consolidated. And I forgot the names of the people, so I apologize if this is not a very helpful question. But it's my understanding that a portion settlement required that an additional person or additional set of people had to come to the committee, and as one of that happened, recommend people be added to the compensation committee from that lawsuit.
Adam, thank you. You're referring to our stock drop case, which was settled, and there were changes made to both our nominating and governance charter and our compensation charter. And yes, the remedial measures we undertook with those changes have been effected, and those members of the board have been appointed. It was one, and that member of the board is confident to results. Sure,
And
Susan, would like to follow.
I might add, Susan, that the recommendations of the compensation committee were unanimous on all these matters.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And I guess are you allowed to share with us what the recommendations were?
The compensation for calendar year 2022 is disclosed in the proxy. And as for 2023, which is the year that we are in the middle of now, which will be reported on at year end, I can tell you that I've made prior public comments that my own compensation would be circled, which means that my salary would have no change, my target bonus would have no change, my target stock grant would have no change versus calendar year 22. How those bonuses are paid and how the stock grants are made is a function of how well the company performs against its budget, consistent with the plan. And we won't actually know until the end of the year whether the bonus grant or the stock grant will be at target, below target, or above target. That's a provision of the plan, which puts my compensation very much at risk with the company's actual performance. With respect to the other named executive officers, I recommended and the compensation committee approved for 2023. I don't want to say they approved it, because all I want to do is repeat the public statement. I said publicly that I would recommend to the committee that that none of the senior officers receive a salary increase, although their target stock grants might change. What the committee decided with respect to that recommendation, as well as the recommendation to Red Circle, all of my own pay will be disclosed in the 2023 proxy, which comes out after year end.
Okay, so just so I understand, you're capping your 2023 compensation at 2022 levels, is the way I understand it, and the portion that is tied to incentive, to performance, is any amount above that, or would those results bring your compensation down? You're
close to having it right.
Okay.
And it's complicated. So my salary is fixed, and again, not saying what the compensation committee did, but my recommendation was that there be no increase to the salary for 2023. With respect to the target bonus and the target stock grant, the actual stock grant and the actual cash bonus can go up or down, above or below the target, based on the company's performance. So we set the target for 23 exactly as we set the target in 2022. In 2022, it's disclosed in the proxy materials, the company far exceeded its budget. So the actual cash bonus and the actual stock grant were much higher than target. How we will do this year depends on how we do this year. And this year, we're only, we're 10 months of the way through, but we're not done. And the company's performance against its budget, per the terms of the bonus plan and the equity plans, will be determined at year end by the comp committee. And so I can't tell you whether my compensation will go up, will stay the same, or will go down, because much of my compensation, approximately 90% of it, is not salary. It's tied to the performance of the company. I can tell you that my target compensation is much lower than my actual compensation for the past few years, because we haven't exceeded our budgets in the last several years. My target compensation is much lower, about a third lower than my actual compensation in the past several years. I don't know what my actual compensation will be this year until the year is over. I do know what my target compensation is, and the target compensation is the same as it was last year, unchanged.
All right, I appreciate it.
Or at least that was my recommendation to the compensation committee at the beginning of the year, and we disclosed their deliberations at year end.
Okay, thank you.
There being no further questions, I now declare the polls closed on this motion, and we'll proceed with the agenda. Because there is a quorum present, we have determined that it is not necessary to consider Proposal 8. There is no need to adjourn the meeting. So that concludes the business items of this meeting. If you have a ballot to be submitted, please raise your hand, and the inspectors will collect it. I will say that after the meeting adjourns, I and some of the other senior officers will stay and are willing to address any other questions that shareholders have who are attending this meeting. Kevin, I understand that there is in fact a preliminary report of the inspectors of elections, inspectors of the election, and that it is ready to be unveiled. Will you please announce the results of the stockholder vote?
Thank you, Adam. The preliminary report of the inspectors of election indicates that Proposal 1 to amend the certificate of incorporation to declassify the board and make certain other immaterial changes has failed. Ms. Clark and Ms. Putnam have been elected as directors. Proposal 3 to amend the certificate of incorporation to eliminate that prohibition against stockholders acting by written consent has failed. Proposal 4 to amend the certificate of incorporation to remove the limitation on stockholders' ability to call special meetings has failed. Proposal 5 to amend the certificate of incorporation to expand the exculpation provision to limit the liability of certain officers has failed. The appointment of Ernst & Young LLP as the company's independent public accounting firm for 2023 has been ratified. The non-binding advisory vote to approve the compensation of the company's named executive officers as disclosed in the proxy statement failed to obtain the support of a majority of shares present and eligible to vote.
Thank you, Kevin. I would point out that in many of these motions that failed, they failed primarily because of the low number of shares that are voting. And in future shareholder meetings, I would encourage all of our shareholders to actually cast their vote. The right to vote is one of the most precious acts that we have in the United States, and giving up your right to vote is painful and has consequences. On behalf of the company, again, I would like to thank all of those shareholders who did vote for their participation in this meeting, and to all of our shareholders, whether you voted or not, for your ongoing support of AMC. I hereby request the final report of the Inspectors of Election filed with the minutes of this meeting. That completes the business of the meeting, although we will take additional questions from shareholders after the meeting adjourns. A motion to adjourn is now in order.
John Merriweather, stockholder. I move that this meeting be adjourned.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
Lisa Morris, shareholder. I second the motion.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying no. Are there any abstentions? The motion has been carried. I hereby declare this meeting adjourned, and will stay online for those of you who might have questions to ask. Thank you for joining us today. That concludes the formal shareholder meeting.
All right. I don't know how
Are there
much.
shareholders here? The questions to pose of Adam?
Let's see what they got to say now. See if my question gets asked.
I can't hear you. You'll need to get the mic closer to you.
Okay, I'm muted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My name is Corey Seaman. I am a shareholder. I'm 401 Doge on X, if you find me there, Aaron, or Adam Aaron. But basically, last time we spoke, I was here at a shareholder meeting, June 2022, and at that meeting, I expressed concern with the price manipulation of AMC stock. Those remain, but I just want to say thank you for taking action as far as following up with FINRA, following up with the New York Stock Exchange on the failures to deliver, which were rampant this year. And thank you for continuing operations we have, right? We've expanded the revenue streams. The credit card, the only one I use, you know, the popcorn, vertical integration, along with the distribution and the partnerships we're doing there. So I'm thankful for everything that you're doing. What I would ask, my question is that we look for, so with my price concern, I believe that's a custodial issue. And as Gary Gensler would say, except I would say for the stock market, it's fraud and manipulation. And whatever the case is happening there, I think it's healthy for our company to explore additional ways to raise capital. So in the current system, what the crux is, I want to give money, right? And I want to participate in the operations of revenue generation. What actually happens is the market, right? And when they do that, we're going to raise money, goes down to rock bottom level, and then you issue those securities to Goldman Sachs or Citibank, and those to brokerages. And I have my broker is in reality. I knowledge of currently what's 5,000 is the next person to buy this line dip, and I don't like is that you're not actually getting my money. I'm not participating because we know stock price is not reflective of the operation. You guys we see stock prices down 90% of the year. I don't think other options, and I appreciate if we explore them. So one, and I think this is, for instance, blockchain technology, unmutable ledger, right? And right now you can register security. Now I know there's a lot of stuff going on with an uproar about it. The reality is that's a custody problem as well. The FTX thing should be a public hearing. And create we're going to offer you X, and we're going to use it for this project and raise those funds, and we could go while it's or whatever. We can fix those, but if we public market to then wait. It could be 20, 30, 40 years, and I appreciate everybody that's saying now, right? The power and people with legislation, yada, yada. But what I'm saying is, explore additional capital raising opportunities. At least the market has to recognize that and can't guarantee the price drops when they know we have to raise funds. So I know that's a bit much, but I'm expressing it.
There was a lot in there, but number one, I want to thank you for coming to Kansas City for the meeting, as you did for the last one. I was listening carefully to what you had to say, and we will continue to explore as many creative options as we can for the betterment of all shareholders. If you look at what separates AMC from others of our competitors, Regal, which went into bankruptcy, Big Chain, Alamo, like all chains went into bankruptcy. It has been our creativity and our willingness to explore all options that has been the reason for our success. So I continue to listen to you, and we will continue to explore all options. I share your pain as a shareholder. I am the largest individual retail shareholder of AMC.
Salty Dog just had a good
our interests are completely
comment
aligned.
in the chat. What about
If
earnings?
you benefit from share
Earnings at
appreciation,
all.
so do I. If your shares go down in value, so do mine, and I have a lot of them. So we are
Man, fuck you,
totally
Adam, man. I'm so tired of hearing that bitch's voice.
to drive success with this company going forward to increase shareholder value over the long term. And again, thank you for your comments, and thank you for your support. Yes, Susan.
He don't like Susan.
Thank you. I don't mean to monopolize, but some questions of concern. So
Go ahead.
now that the reverse split and conversion have gone through, I'm wondering if you will consider changing your mind on the issue of hiring share intel to do a share count, and not only have it a share count of what exists now, but backward looking for about 5 years. Would you consider doing that?
We have considered doing that. And I'll tell you that many of our shareholders don't want to believe it, but we issue a share count every 90 days. And we did so again today. We said there are 198 million shares that are outstanding. We've looked at the services that Share Intel provides. We know that out there in World it's perceived to be some that will answer all questions and solve all problems. We've looked hard at it. We don't think that there's any actionable intelligence that will come our way if we engage them to advise us. Other questions?
Christy Harris, shareholder.
Hi, Christy.
Hi, how are you doing?
All good.
So I'm wondering if there is any comment on what appears to be very limited or no insider buying of our stock currently?
Good question. Good question.
Sure. I myself have millions of dollars worth of AMC stock over the years, in the 8 years that I've
Shut up, bitch.
run the company. If you look at the last couple of years, there has not been significant insider buying. Those are all individual investment decisions made by individuals about whether they think they have the right amount of AMC shares or not, whether they should have more or less. In my own case, a significant portion of my net worth is in AMC stock. I've said publicly that I have no intention of selling any of that stock anytime soon. I have not sold a single share since January of 2022. So I'm a holder. But I honestly, as I look at diversifying my assets, I think I have the right amount of my own net worth invested in AMC stock. So I'm not currently selling, but I'm also not a buyer. I think about it all the time. I think about all the time whether I should buy or not. But I think I'm properly invested and properly diversified. As for others, those are all individual decisions that they make one by one. There is no concerted effort in our company to encourage officers to buy, to hold, or to sell stock, other than the requirements that we put in as a company about a year and a half ago. We didn't have any policy on whether executive officers should hold stock, and we thought it was a good idea to do so. So in my own case, I'm required to hold 8 times my annual salary in AMC stock. Executive vice presidents are required to hold 4 times their salary. Senior vice presidents are required to hold 2 times their salary in AMC stock, subject to all the particularities of the policy and the plan.
Thank you, Christy. Any other questions? I believe we have one at the rear.
Adam, how you doing? Robert here. So before the reverse conversion that we had, failure to delivers were through the roof. Cost to borrow was maxed out in the thousands, and FTDs were running rapid. Then the reverse conversion happened. Now the short interest is down to 2, 3, 4, 5%, and now there's as many as 3 million, 10 million shares available to borrow. You have anyone on your team that's looking into why that is, or maybe even if anything going on with the FTX situation with the tokenized AMC shares, 1 for 1, back 1 for 1, may have been the root of the problem. Do you have anybody investigating FTX and the backed token there?
So there's one fact in your statement that was incorrect. The short interest is not 2 or 3%. It has come down from where it was previously, but it's nowhere close to 2 or 3%. It's many multiples of that currently. And we look at that literally as every single short interest report is issued every 2 weeks.
Short interest.
I think the FTX matter has been dealt with not by AMC, but by the federal courts. And as you know, its CEO and several of its senior officers were just convicted of securities fraud. Beyond that, on this question of fails to deliver and other matters, we have said repeatedly that we have gone to FINRA, we have gone to the New York Stock Exchange, and we reported our concerns, and we reported them to the highest levels. I know that literally the head of the New York Stock Exchange was aware of our approaches because I heard back from her, We are a company on the exchange. We're not the exchange itself. Our business is to sell movie theater tickets and popcorn and soda and all sorts of other things. And now with Taylor Swift and Beyonce, it's to create movie content, or at least concert content, to be distributed globally. But the regulation of the stock markets is the job of the U.S. government and the Interstock Exchange. It's not the job of AMC. So while we watch it closely and we report what we think needs to be reported, it's their responsibility to police the markets. It's our responsibility to run the company right.
Thank you for answering that question. Just to follow up, Adam, did you happen to have anybody on the team look at the tokenized AMC shares? And if so, who? So we can do a follow up.
I would not get into the details of it because I fear that that's just going to spark a whole new genre of conspiracy theories floating around on Twitter. Of course, we look at it, and as I said, when we have concerns, we report them to the regulators. Beyond that, I think it's better for our shareholders and for the company management to focus on.
All right, the meeting is over with, so I will be going. Fuck it. I mean, we're here. Y'all want to talk about it now? Let me stop sharing. It's over with, so now I'll do a video. What they did was they snuck in the let's do the vote now at 1 o'clock, and they're going to give us the earnings report at 5 o'clock for Central. All right. So we just watched the vote happen, and now we're waiting on the earnings report. Now I'll be talking to y'all in just a few minutes. Give me a chance to get myself together and take some notes, and I'll do a video on what we just watched. So with that, love y'all. What y'all got down here? You can't hear me. You can't hear me. All right. I'm gonna end this, and I'll do a video about it. Love y'all. Be blessed, and I'll see you then.